Now it's time for another new project. We're going to make a clay mask. Here we go. You're going to use two wood pieces that are the same thickness, a rolling pin and some clay. Put the clay down between the two wood pieces and use the rolling pin to roll out the clay so it's the same thickness as the wood pieces. This is going to keep your mask from getting too thin. If you have little chunks that come off on the rolling pin, just peel them off and set them aside. Now we've gotten to a point where the clay is the same thickness as the wood pieces. So remove the wood pieces and start rolling the clay out in different directions to make it, rather than a long strip, make it a little bit of a wider piece. This is essential so that it covers our entire mask form. Once we're done, here's the clay mask. Now, we can't just put the clay right on top of that. We have to put newspaper down first so it doesn't stick to the clay form. Put some newspaper down, then take your clay piece and gently drape it over the mask form. You then use your fingers and hands to kind of press it down around the edges, stretching the clay and giving it the same shape and form as the mask underneath. Press down on the eye sockets a little bit, and you're pretty good at this point. Now we're going to use this metal fettling knife to trim the edges. Any excess clay you can just trim off that you don't really need and just put it off to the side. Once we do this, we're going to start adding some details. Get it back to the right shape, and here we go. Let's cut some shapes for an eye. So I'm going to carefully cut out the right shape, maybe even trace it lightly first. So I'm going to cut that out and then get rid of it. And now I'm going to make an eyebrow above that eye. So what I have to do, take some extra clay and cut it to the rough shape that you want for the eyebrow. Here I'm using the handle of the fettling knife to roll it out kind of flat and a little bit thinner. The thickness should be thinner than your pinky finger. Now I'm going to cut out the shape I want for the eyebrow. And I can't just stick it on there. I have to do a process called slipping and scoring. Make sure that the eyebrow fits how you want it to, and then you're going to take that fettling knife and you're going to score up or roughen up the surface that you're going to stick down onto the mask. You do this so the clay binds together better. You need to do this on the back of the eyebrow and on the surface of the mask. Once you've done this, you take some of the liquid clay called slip out of the bucket and you put it on one of the surfaces where you've roughed it up. Kind of carve it up a little bit, and then you can press them together. It'll form a much stronger bond this way. Let's talk about adding a little texture. I'm going to use a toothbrush. There's a couple different things you can do with a toothbrush. Here, I'm kind of just tapping the toothbrush into the surface of the clay and it makes this really cool spongy texture. Or you can try something different like carving in different hairs and textures with a fettling knife. Now, one of the nice things about working with clay is if you carve those lines pretty lightly, and you end up not liking them, you can just blend them back in and try again, as long as you don't ruin the shape of the eyebrow. This is a pretty fun project. I encourage you to have a good time with it, pay attention to details. See ya!